You're on a first date. The girl you're with is to your left, 3 guys on your right seated at a bar. All of a sudden, these 3 guys start clowning on you in front of your date. What do? Do you have the answer to this? Today, I'm gonna walk you through a story that happened to me 2 days ago that went down exactly like this. I'm gonna tell you how I handled it, and more importantly, break down why I handled it that way. So if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, or maybe if you're not on a first date, maybe you're just in an important meeting with someone else and some people start getting sassy with you, how do you handle it to look good? You actually will look better than if they didn't clown on you at all, because you show that you can actually handle a situation like that where most people would fold up. So it was a first date, and I was actually at a restaurant right around the corner here in Dallas, Texas. It's got a nice scene. I don't know if you've ever been to STK in Vegas. It's a nice steakhouse. Really good food, really nice layout, but super modern and contemporary. Like the whole place is lined with speakers. They're playing really good electronic music. Just a really nice, fun, upbeat vibe. So I sit down with this girl and we're talking, and she's to my left. And I say, hey, I'm gonna run to the restroom. And she goes, oh, I have to go too. I say, okay, why don't you run and then I'll go after you. She leaves. There's 3 guys to my right that I hadn't even noticed that sit down. Let me tell you, these boys are a little sauced up. I think it was like a Wednesday night at like 10 o'clock, and they'd been hitting the pops pretty hard. So I start talking with them, and they actually live about a block away as well. We were getting along really well, joking around, having a good time. She comes back, sits down, and I excuse myself to run to the restroom. Now I come back, and the tides had changed a little bit because they'd seen the girl I was with, and these guys were all my age, and she's a really cute girl, and so they likely liked her. So what do guys do a lot of times in public situations to try to make the guy there look bad? What if they can make me look like a clown? Well, maybe he's gonna get her number. Maybe he'll go on a date with her. Maybe I'll see him out there this Friday if it would have gone poorly, right? That's what they're thinking. That's why guys are always doing that. And what's behind this? What's kind of the implied part of this? When you have 2 of your buddies there, well, you're basically preaching to the choir, right? You got 2 hype men who are gonna think whatever you say is so funny and what I say is stupid. So you don't have much to lose because you've got that built-in cushion from your homies around you. So we're talking, I come back, I can tell the energy's changed a little bit, right? And so one of the guys in the middle says, hey man, where do you get your hair cut? Okay. So I've been out enough that I know a conversation doesn't go from where it was before to where to get your hair cut. He was gonna make a joke about my hair, right? Now, for those of you guys listening to this saying, no, maybe he was just asking about your haircut. No. You gotta, when you go out and has been out in public as much as I do, you can tell the little nuances where these things are going. This was not a genuine inquiry so he could bother me for the name of the barber that cuts my hair. He was looking for a reason to make a joke, and I knew that. So I responded to him. I could have either ignored him and turned, but I felt like I'd respond to him just to kind of stay upbeat and show that I could deal with it, because she kind of felt it going a little bit weird too. And I said, self-cut. I said, I've been cutting my hair for about 3 years now. The price is right, and it really turns out well. One of his buddies messed up because he was so drunk. He was like, really? Like, kind of like it was almost like cool and surprised. He didn't see the joke in it, whereas his buddies saw it was a joke. And so that really kind of crippled their social status right from the point. Like, his hype man is so dumb he didn't even get the joke. And they kind of knew that. But then the guy in the middle, he tried to hang on it a little bit. And he was like, no, he's like, I didn't want to be a complete jerk. And so I said, no, actually a buddy of mine introduced me to someone down the street. It's great. And so he goes to say something else, right? I don't exactly remember what it was, but he was gonna say like, oh, that's like, where do you get the style? Something like that, like some stupid follow-up to even egg it on more like, cool haircut, man. How'd you pick that style? That's so cool, I love it, I want it, right? That's where he was going with this. So what would you do in that instance? You made a nice, well-timed crack, it's self-cut, right? You're just joking, you're kind of playing in the joke, not taking things seriously. Because if I would have been like, you guys are jerks, you guys are rude, why are you asking me that? You don't really care about my cut. They're gonna be like, oh, it makes me look bad, and their status goes up. Now my date's like, who am I out with, this dope? So I say, after I say that, I completely just turn and ignore, right? Turn my shoulder, completely engage her in a way that it just seemed like nothing even happened at all. She probably didn't even barely realize that I'm ignoring them at this point. Why? Because a funny crack and that he kind of tries to like continue on with that joke, no upside, right? Because what if I would have made another good crack? Now I'm too engaged and it's clearly like a non-friendly battle where we're kind of going at each other. Also, think about the hype men. Think about Money Mayweather with his pops right over his shoulder that's gonna laugh at everything he says. So even, as I always talk about, when you're in battle of kind of making fun of somebody or cracking on somebody, the person who has an emotional reaction is the person who loses. So because he's got his hype men that are gonna act like no matter what I say, except for his buddy who messed up on that first crack, they're gonna act like whatever I say is dumb, right? I could say the coolest thing ever, the funniest thing ever. They're all gonna look at each other like, who is this guy, right? It's super easy when you have those kind of numbers, it's easy to do that. So I had no upside of continuing to interact with them at all once it turned bad. Simply turn and interrupt. Turn and interrupt, turn and ignore. And what was going in my mind is, well, what if they interrupt? What if they do? Completely ignore. I'm turned, literally, give them no peace of mind. The only thing they could possibly do is actually touch my shoulder. That's an aggressive move. If they did that, that would have been a bad move. But all I would have said is, hey man, just give me a minute, right? So they're touching my shoulder. We want to know where you got your haircut. They didn't do this, but a lot of people want to play out the worst case scenario in their mind. We want to know where you got your haircut. Hey man, just give me a minute. Let me finish this. Talk, never turn back. 5 minutes later, tap on the shoulder if they do it. Hey man, just give me a minute, okay? Let me just finish this conversation. Do you mind? Okay, thanks, man. Right? Nice tone of voice, strong tonality. And by the way, I got to throw it in now. New tonality boot camp, 30 days of me personally coaching you. So if when you say that, if my tonality would have been, hey man, can you give me a minute? Hey, give me a minute. I'd like to finish this. Versus, hey man, give me a minute. I'd like to finish this. Do you hear the difference? If you can't do that with your voice, you got to get your voice dialed in. You're going to be clowned on so much more if you don't speak in a convincing way. You're an easy target. So you touch or click up here if you want to learn more about how to improve your voice. But anyway, so I can handle anything that they possibly do to me because I'm like this now. Just they're stupid. Ignore me. Hey, I'm talking. Don't be rude. I'm talking, right? At this point, blocked them out, ignored them. No more variability. If you follow my videos and you follow my coaching, I love moves you can make socially that don't have to involve any other variables, because so many instances you're playing off this, what's this person saying, how's this person looking, and all these different things. With this, nothing. They're completely out of the picture. I handled it. And more importantly, how do I look to her? Wow, that was incredible. This guy first kind of clowned on these three guys and then showed higher status and just completely owned the situation, right? Awesome. Great display of status and confidence, being able to handle something like that. Now, I did a video. Have you ever heard of Santana Row in near San Francisco? It's like in San Jose, kind of a fancy strip. I walked into a bar one time there right when they opened, and there was a guy on the side of the bar sitting there, once again, kind of sauced up. You're seeing a trend. And he tried to clown on me in front of the two waitresses and everybody else at the bar. I handled that a little bit different way. It's one of my favorite videos. You can click here to watch that and I'll walk you through it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click here to do so, man. I'm putting videos out twice a week now. Breakdowns of political and sports interactions, and also these more coaching videos on Thursdays. I'll talk to you soon. You're walking into a bar. Your body language is good. Your eye contact is strong. You approach the bar to see two